In this video, I will be explaining how to configure voice in Splinx. I wanted to create a video about the voice tariff plans, which we configure here, but then I found that here we just define the price and just basic settings, and then we need to configure rates, we need to configure CDR processing, we need to configure category and prefixes, and all this is related to the voice topic. So that's why I decided to create a long video where I will describe step by step how to configure correctly voice in Splinx and how to make it work. So let's start. What we need in voice configuration is we need to define categories. So this is the basic thing. And usually if you will start running voice without proper configuration, you will get errors saying category is not defined. When we configure these categories, we'll go to prefixes and we will just match them with categories, and then we'll continue with the rates. Soon as these things are prepared, we will take the rates and we'll apply them to tariff plans, and then we'll apply these tariff plans to our customers. Okay, and grab CDRs. I will be showing how to do it manually, how to match columns in your CDR to columns in Splinx, but better is to do it automatically. We can create small scripts that will connect to your voice platform through API, or we have an FTP native connection there. So let's start with categories. Categories, this is, for example, we define category mobile, category local, international, and under these categories we'll then define prefixes in the prefix table. Let's go to voice and check categories here. So there are some categories that we have. They are by default called usual and other and something like that. You can change these names. You can change them to the names that you like. And categories, they have also type. Splinx can process voice over IP calls, but also it can work as a billing engine for mobile calls where you have data and messages and phone calls. Okay, so these are the categories. You can delete some of the categories. So I see that I have 2 local categories. I don't need them. And when this is done, I can continue. And as I said, my next step here after categories will be to define the prefixes. The prefixes are important because based on these prefixes, we recognize to which category belongs the number, the destination number. And let's go there. Under prefixes, there is a table, and let's check if it is empty by default. So it should be the empty table. Yes, I have here only the one rule that says match all to local calls, but we need to configure the prefixes here correctly. I can load default prefix list. I select my country, for example, I'm using South Africa, and I will load it, and that will load the countries with the asterisk-based syntax. And this is not used then. I can just remove this rule. And now I have definition of my international prefixes, and one prefix is local. Here it is, the description. Please do not use this type of definition if you need to configure your local, national, or your mobile calls, because if the local number is 234.222.333, which is 9 digits, and if you do this, it means that it will just match everything, including all African numbers. Okay, so that's why we need to define in the different way. So we need to define it. So this is incorrect way. We need to define it in this way. Look, for example, in that example, we start with 2 and then we say X, which means 1 digit. Okay, so that will be, we need to set it this 9 times or in 8 times. So to have 9X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one missing. So this will match only 9 numbers, and that will be a local call, and my category will be local. Okay, so the same way I can add other prefixes that will match it the same way, and then I will continue configuration. There are two cases when we do not have to configure these prefixes here, because if I will do the same definition of prefixes in my rates, then I don't have to put them here under prefixes, because they will be already rated and they will be already recognized by the rating. Okay, so if I'll go to my rates, I create a rate here, which is called rate A. And if I will be defining my prices here in this table, and I will do this, saying this my local call, prefix this one, category local. I don't need to do the same thing in prefixes to do double work, okay? So this is not needed to define in prefixes. I will be doing it here. And the second way why we do not need to define these prefixes if we match categories directly inside the CDR. Sometimes we got the CDR in this format, and the CDR comes with a category here. So we will not be matching, for example, this source, these destination numbers at all, and we'll be using categories in this case, or we can match it and we can use the categories both. When the category is already in the CDR and that will be used, I don't need to set up these prefixes here as well. But in all other cases, we need to do that. Okay, so when we do define the prefixes, we need to go to our VoIP rate scenarios. And the first one is a prefix-based scenario that I'll be showing now. Then we say, if we will not use our prefix, we can use the name. And this is exactly this case. We can use this name instead of matching the prefixes. And then we can have another scenario when we will take a price and we'll just apply this price to customer as it was. So this is the price of our provider or from our voice platform. And we can just grab this price and apply it to customer without any recalculations at all. So in this case, we will not need prefix definitions. We will not need almost anything. And then if we need price, we need to get this price and add some percentage on it. This is also possible. We can take this price and add percentage and create the final price for customer. So let's start with the basic configuration, which means configuration of here of the rates. So rates and setting up the prefixes there. So if I go there, I have created already one. So let's do this and say local calls, category local, prefix will be this one, and the price will be 10 cents for the local calls to this prefix. I can add it. The rate name I'm not using. I'm using only description here. You can see, because the rate name is something what we use to match the names. So when we do not use the prefix matching and we use this matching, okay? If we will use this matching, then we will use rate names field. But in our case now, scenario number 1 is using prefixes. So I'm configuring the same way all the prefixes. I can load them through import, or I can just do this manually. First step means the first when customer calls, and after 5 minutes we'll charge him for the whole minute. Okay, so that if we set up 60 here, and after this minute, after first minute, how we will charge all other seconds. Okay, if he made 1 minute and 5 seconds call, this will make 2-minute charge. Okay, and the price 10 cents. So let me configure or import my prefixes with prices, and then let's continue. Here I have added some national and mobile prefixes, and let me add one that will be different, and that will be, for example, prefix of Czech Republic, category international, and the prefix will look this way. So it will start with 420, and everything what will follow it will include in this mask. And the price will be, for example, 0.9. Again, the first step and the tarification step 60. I can test if really my number will be matched by that. There is a test, so I can add my number and check if this will match or not, because the syntax is incorrect, so it should be this way. Yes, and if I do it this way, then it is correct. So this is the correct syntax. And the same thing I can add to for UK. So for UK, that will be 44 and exclamation mark, UK calls. Again, 60, and my price will be same as to Czech Republic. And again, check it, add my phone number. Yeah, that's good. And the same check we can do with this configuration. So I can go there, for example, and say, what is my matching for my phone? Does it match? Yes, it matches because it has 9 digits. But if I add one more digit, then it doesn't match, okay? So this is what we have configured here. We can export these rates to the CSV file and import it then, or we can change it and import it, or we can load rates from other plan, which is also possible, or we can do some kind of mass update here, setting the prices and first step, tarification step. So it will just update everything. So for example, I need the tarification step to change from 60 to 1. So I just select all my plans and I will do, okay, let's do that and let's update. So when I do this update, it changes all my tarification step. So my rate table, which is called rate A, is ready to be applied to the tariff plan. Let's go to the tariff plans, to the voice. And here, let's create a new plan that will be test 100 minutes. So that will be 100 minutes included. And that will do in the next step. But now we will not include anything. We'll just set up price 10. And we'll say that VAT is not included. It depends. We can set it up this way. And now let's go to configuration of the plan. So plan was added here. We can go to the advanced configuration and apply the rate table rate A. When we apply the rate table, these things are just ignored, okay? When we do not apply, then we can work and, for example, we can take the buy price and increase it 50%, something like that. But if we do rating, all these things become just inactive, okay? Then we can work and say, we want to include 100 minutes to the category, to all my categories during all the days of the week. I want to give them 100 minutes maximum. Okay, so this is what we can also do. And I don't want to do that now. I want to just test if my billing will work and if my rates will be applied. So that's why I apply the rate A. Let's go to customers and assign this voice plan to the customer. So there is our client Capman that we were using. And let's go to the service, create a new voice service for him, select test 100 minutes. And then here is important thing, we add the phone number here. So the phone number is this one that we have for our testing. And again, I can add many different phone numbers under one service, or I can add extensions, and here's a description how this can be added. Okay, again, this is the syntax of asterisk. So when we add this, so it means that this number already belongs to customer, and we can import our CDR. Under voice processing, we go to CDR import, and then we can import it this way, but there is also a way how to do this automatically. So if you go to the configuration voice, there are automatic configuration. What I always suggest to do is to ask our support team to help you with this configuration. At least we can help you to configure the handler that will match columns. So that's what I'm talking about. I will show you now. This, let's load the data. So we load the CDR and it says there is a column, and what I need to do, I need to match and say this column is source. This column is or this column is a datetime in this case. This is the source. This is my destination. This is, I'm not importing it because I'm using my rating based on prefixes. So I don't want to import this thing, or I can import it as a buy price without VAT. So, and it will show me how much do I have to pay to this call to my provider. And then this is not needed to import because my categories will be working will be taken from the prefixes. So, and this is duration. And to not do this all the time and to have it automatically meshed and automatically grabbed, we can just configure for you a special handler and special file, PHP, that will do this for you, this matching. And also it can be connected processing to FTP or to API of the voice platform. So when we run the preview, it will show us errors or mistakes if something happens. Because I have added only one number and I have other source numbers, probably it will show me errors that it cannot match the numbers. So let's wait a bit. Exactly, so this is what happened. So it says that only 6% of all our rows were matched. And this is my number, destination, and here it matched the category. And then we just go there. And what I do not like here is this category was matched to international, but actually it has to be the local number. So, and we have to fix it somehow. But then we just go there and it says, yeah, this is the local, and yeah, the 4, it looks like a prefix 4 is not inside the pricing. And that's why we have it here under international. So it doesn't have to be international, it has to be correct. Let's try that. We can scroll again to our rates and check if there is a rate starting with 4. Here it is. So it should be national, but because of some reason, it matches it to international. Yeah, the reason why this category is shown international is because we do not have the prefixes inside our prefix list, but we have them in the rate table. So in this previews, they are not shown correctly, but that will be replaced and filled in correctly when we will do the rating of the calls. So we can confirm this and say, yes, import, I would like to import everything. And now it imported 152 calls. If I go to my customer and I will go to his view, let's find this customer that we have configured. Under his statistics and voice, we can find for the previous months that there are many, many hours and minutes. Okay, and as I said, this is incorrect because we haven't specified, we haven't configured all our prefixes inside the prefix list, but we configure them in the rate table. So during the rating, this will be fixed and sorted correctly. What we see here is that we do not have any prices. So prices are empty, and this is fine. Okay, this is fine because we haven't run the bidding. So all the prices in prefixes by prefix, in this case, prefix-based rates. So this all is applied when we do the billing run. So I can do the billing run for this customer. I will create him one invoice dated 1st of December with the invoice date of today. And you can see that he will receive his recurring invoice for 100 minutes for 10 mega cap, and there will be outgoing calls for 400 euro. That's so many calls he did. Let's click charge and invoice button. And now if we go to statistics and if we open voice for this client and if we select the previous months, you will see that everything was set correctly. So there are local calls, national calls, and the mobile calls. And if we scroll down, we see that this is set up correctly. Okay, I see that I haven't added the buy price, so we do not see how much the call cost me. This can be fixed. I can cancel everything, and this is what is very nice in Spring, that you can always revert back all the changes. So I can go to my billing. There is an invoice created, but I can delete the invoice. It will delete all the transactions. Then I can go to my voice, processing, CDR import, and there is an export and history. So under CDR history, I can just remove this file. When I remove this file, it says that it will delete all imported data. So it means the phone calls will be deleted. Yes, I want to delete it because I forgot to add the buy price there. So let's go there. If I go again to customer view, and if I go to his statistics and his voice, it will be empty. No calls, no minutes, anything. Okay, I go again to my voice, processing and import, and I'll play a bit there. I just choose the file, I can reset import, say yes, I want to reset, and I want to start a new one. And load data, we'll do exactly the same what I did before, just select date time. I select my source, select destination, then I say this is what I haven't set buy price without VAT, and then I did duration. Okay, and now we can go and preview. Wait a bit. Yeah, here it is, and let's go to the importing. Yeah, there is a buy price selected, everything is correct now. Now I go to my customer view. And what I do, I run him a billing cycle. Run the billing cycle with a period starting from 1st of December, transaction date today, and charge an invoice. That will be exactly the same what we saw before. We go to voice, and here on the last month, exactly the same numbers. But the difference is that now I have my price, and now I have my price that I buy for, okay? So this is my price, and this is the final price with including tax, excluding tax. And what customer will see if he logs into his client portal. When he goes there, log in as customer, and okay, this is his cap data and everything. And under services, he has list of his services, which says internet and voice. And under statistics, he can choose last month, and he has all the details of all calls that he did. Of course, he doesn't see the buy price that we have. Okay, this is the first scenario, how to configure prefix-based rates. We can now apply, include some minutes. So we can see that here, if I go there to statistics of this customer for this calls for the last months, I can see that he has many mobile phones. So for example, I can play a bit, and I can now define in the plan that all mobile phones, all mobile calls will be included. So it will be unlimited, or it will include 1,000 minutes. Let's do that. Again, I can cancel everything now just for this test. I can cancel invoice for this client, and I will just go to my voice, processing and history, and I will remove this file from there, and we can import this file again and rerun it with the new settings. And now let's go to my tariff plan, voice, and let's say that this test 100 minutes, we will include here, for example, 100 minutes to category of local calls, and during all the days we can say that it will include 100 minutes. But also what we can do is that we will include their category mobile, and we'll say that during all the days, all the time, we'll just make it unlimited. So all calls to mobile phones are unlimited. Let's do that. Now the plan is applied, saved, everything is saved. Let's go to my voice, and I'm again importing all the things. And after import, I just jump to my customer. Okay, I have imported quickly all the file there, and let's go to customer list, Capman, and let's go to his billing and run the charge. This is what we see here, and it says that outgoing cost will be only 78, so instead of 400 that we had before. Let's do that. So it's creating the invoice, and under his voice statistics for the last month, I see the difference. As you can see, he has mobile phones, 8 hours that he did, but it's for 0. And the local calls, because it's only 22 minutes that are included into 100 minutes, so it's a 0 price. So this is an example of how we can work and how we can configure the prefix-based rates. So the next example that I will show you is if you do not need to, or you do not want to use your prefixes and you have your destination name inside the CDR. So you can just configure a few names and do the same thing that we did. You can do it with the destination names. So let's create a new rate that will be called rate names, and it will not use prefixes at all. Under these rate names, I can configure and set the rates that will have rate name only. For example, that will be local, and category will be local here, and there will be no prefix. So the price will be this. I set up first step, verification step, and then I will do the same, but for national. And these names should match to the names that we have here, okay, inside our CDR file. And national and mobile, so I can copy and paste it there. So this will be the national with a price of 20 cents, and the first step 60/60. And then I will create a last one that we'll test, will be the mobile. So this will be used instead of prefixes, this wording. No prefix needed at all. And see, I forgot to define the category here. The category is mobile. This is what we have configured, and we can now use it inside our CDR processing. The one thing that is missing, because as you remember, in our previous example, here we have a rate with the prefixes, and these prefixes are used to use inside a category, and this is what I said, that we always use prefixes to match to the category. Here, in this case, we do not have this prefixes here, and it will use prefixes that are defined and configured here if we do not have the category directly defined inside the CDR. Okay, I need to import prefixes here correctly just to recognize correctly my category. I can do it. I will show you the example how we can export import from Splints. So this is the rates that we have here. I can just export only prefixes with the corresponding category from there. That's what I'm doing here. I'm selecting the fields. The field will be description, prefix, and the category. When I do that, it will export the CSV file, and now I can go to my prefixes and import it. Okay, I will import the file. I don't want to clear existing items because I already have there all my international prefixes. So now it creates me the preview. I click, there is a button that show me what is inside the preview, and it says, okay, this is description, prefix, category ID. Do I agree? Yes, I do. And now it says the preview is ready to run, and it's generated. If I click this button, it says run the preview and confirm it. Okay, confirm, and let's do that. Yeah, I haven't defined the destination during the import, but the prefixes are there, and my main goal is that it will match to the category correctly. Now I can continue and I can upload the file. So let's go to CDR import, choose the file again, and load the data. And now the only difference will be that I'm selecting here the same fields, but I will not use my prefixes, but I will use my rate names here. Before I do that, what I need to do, I need to change my rate name, because you see the rate is here under customers, the rate names, but it should be applied to the tariff plan, because if you remember, under my voice tariff plans, I still have applied my previous rate A. So I need to change that to rate names, and now the rate names will be applied, and it will not use the prefixes. Okay, I can delete these things for now, and I go to again to my voice processing import, and now I will do again the import of the file. Here it is, date time, source, destination, and rate name. So that will be used instead of prefixes in our case. And now this is the duration. I preview that, and then I just confirm it, and we will check how that works. So we can see that it recognized in the preview correctly all my categories, because we have imported them to prefixes, and now we just click import button, and that imported our calls. Again, I go to my client, to his profile, and I do the same thing what I did before. I just click charge button and see the result. So let's click the charge button. Let's click the preview, and you can see that there is even more calls and even more money, because before not all prefixes were matched, but here we matched almost everything, because I didn't have some prefixes of some calls of this customer, but in this case we have some prefixes that the names that we matched, and also the prices are different. So if I go to my statistics of voice, let's go there, check what is there for the last months. Yeah, here it is. We can see that it matched even more mobile calls that it had before. Okay, and this is how it works. So we can use both, as I said. We can use the prefix-based rating, or we can use destination names, and we can use this is more advanced, let's say, and more simple way how to use it if our CDR provider gives us this option. There are two more things. If we do not want to lose our time with all these destination and prefixes, we can use a price from the CDR, and we can use the price from the CDR and add some percentage on that. This is very simple way how to do that. Instead of configuring all the rates, what we have to do is inside processing and CDR import, in the first scenario, here when we are importing this file, what we have to do is we have to define one column that it is a sales price. Okay, so if I go there, and if I load the data, one of the column that I will be selecting here, this one, I can say that this is the price, and you can say there are different options. So if I say this is the sale price without VAT, all rating will be completely ignored. So that there will be no rating. It will just use the sale price, and it will work with that. Okay. And also I can do as I did before, I can add it as a buy price. And when I do this, the next step which I can do, I can go to my tariff configuration, and here inside the voice, you remember that we had the option where we do not, sorry, that's this one. We had the option that we do not define the rate name, but we set up buy price increase 50%. So this is the buy price increase 50% for everything what will be inside the CDR. I can also go to the pricing groups, and this is advanced settings, and I can do this buy price increase per groups. So I can do it by category. I can say, okay, I want to increase buy price 50%, but only for international calls. Okay, so this is what I can do. 50% inter. So this is what, yeah, the dates. I select all the dates. So this is my first rule. And then I can say, but I want to increase 10% my local. Okay, and again, do the local, all the days, and add 10% to that. Okay, so these are all the options that you can use in Splinx. And the last thing that I want to mention here is that under configuration, when I go to my voice, there we can see that there are certain settings, and this one is the auto CDR processing. When I can connect, where I can connect my FTP or API source, and Splinx can grab this automatically based on the interval. And we can also define the columns here that are first, second, third, fourth columns. Everything this is possible to configure. And then we can also do this automation, advanced automation. We can help it to do for you. So here you can see that there is a data source FTP as FTP local, or there is an option also to connect to the API. If you will be doing this automation, please feel free to contact us, and we always help to our clients to achieve that. I think that's all for now from voice. Thank you so much for your time. That was a really long video, but I hope that it helped you to understand the concept.